Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. It is a weekly chat about socially conscious topics impacting the culture. I'd like to extend my gratitude in you listening to this podcast. It means everything to me, and I hope it is clear that this subject matter is so important to me. I care about our people, our future, and making a positive change in this nation.
This episode is powered by Poddex.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Woke by Accident podcast. Today will be a solo episode. There are some stories that I do want to share with you, so let's check that out. This first story is about Ketanji Brown Jackson, who made history last week, being confirmed and will now be the first black woman to hold a Supreme Court seat. The Senate voted 53-47 to confirm Jackson's historic nomination to the highest court in the nation. Jackson's position on the Supreme Court will also change the legal profession, giving black women new representation at the highest levels. This comes 41 days after President Joe Biden announced her nomination. Vice President Kamala Harris, a historic first in her own right, presided over the final vote. In addition to Jackson's title as the country's first black woman Supreme Court justice, she will also be the first justice in 3 decades with criminal defense experience. She was a federal public defender from 2005 to 2007, representing people who lacked the resources to hire an attorney. With 8 years of experience in the U.S. District Court, Jackson will also have more experience as a federal trial court judge than any other sitting justice. So I think many of you have watched the proceedings and see that she really went through the fire with the questions and all of that, which is the process, and she made it through. So we are really proud and we salute her victory as the first black woman Supreme Court justice ever. Very historic moment, and we're really proud of that. This next story is an update to the fatal shooting of Amir Locke. We talked about this story previously in Minneapolis. A 22-year-old young man, Amir Locke, was fatally shot and killed during a no-knock raid in a downtown apartment. When the police entered, he reached for a gun and they fatally shot him. Well, the update now is that there would be no charges filed against the police officer who shot and killed Amir Locke during the no-knock warrant. Now, according to public records, Officer Mark Hanneman fired the shots that killed Amir Locke. The body-worn camera footage is posted online. Following weeks of investigation, the final case report was sent to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for review for possible charges. The decision came down last week, and they decided to charge a case like this would simply be wrong. And that's coming from the Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. The 2 prosecutors say that there was insufficient admissible evidence to file a criminal charge, and that they are not allowed to evaluate the case from the perspective of the victim. So that's very interesting and sad for the family of Amir Locke. There will not be any charges filed in this particular case. And I also want to note that Amir was not the suspect or the subject of the warrant they were coming to serve, or there was a no-knock warrant situation. He was at a friend or relative's house and they were the subject of the warrant. He just so happened to be at the apartment sleeping on the couch with a firearm nearby, and they stormed in. He was, startled and reached for his gun, is what was expressed, and then he unfortunately lost his life. And so, that gives more questions to be raised about the no-knock warrants and the call for reform of that. Because, going all the way back to Breonna Taylor, and there's been some other scenarios too where, just more protocol needs to be enforced with these warrants. So no-knock warrants may not be the way. So that this is another case where a no-knock warrant resulted in the death of someone who was not a suspect, and so it's just really unfortunate all the way around. It really is. So I did want to share that update that there will not be charges, and his family is pushing for the no-knock warrant legislation. There's a story out of Grand Rapids, Michigan that I want to bring to your attention. Additionally, this incident involves Patrick Lyoya, who was shot and killed by a Grand Rapids police officer during a traffic stop on April 4th. Protesters have gathered at the Grand Rapids City Commission meeting today to demand justice for Lyoya, who was 26. They want disciplinary action against the officer and the release of the footage showing the moment the young man was shot. Reports say that a Grand Rapids police officer pulled Lyoya over because the license plate was not registered to his vehicle. Reports also claim that an altercation ensued between Lyoya and the officer, resulting in the officer shooting and killing Patrick Lyoya. Grand Rapids Police Chief Eric Winstrom said Lyoya tried to escape arrest, which led to a fight lasting 2 minutes. However, it was not clear the exact moment when he was shot. Yet, when Lyoya's father saw the dash cam video of the incident, he states that the officer shot Patrick in the back of the head while he lay face down on the ground. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump supports demands that the camera footage be released, and then the additional footage was released today on the 13th. They initially were going to release it on the 15th because I guess there is different viewpoints from the dash cam of the vehicle and to the body cam of the officer, and then there is video from a bystander cell phone which actually captures the moment of the fatal shot. And so in order to see the whole incident, you have to really look at all three viewpoints to capture the whole event. So an investigation will occur. This matter just occurred the prior week, and they're just releasing the additional footage so that it can be reviewed for investigation. So we'll be following this story as it is very recent, but I did want to bring this to your attention. The video is out on social media for you to take a look at. I do caution and warn you, it is very graphic. And so I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Our thoughts are with the family of the deceased, and we will keep you informed. This last story that I want to bring to your attention comes from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it is about a 70-year-old woman, LaDonna Paris. You may have seen a video going around where LaDonna Paris, who is a mentally ill 7-year-old black woman, was locked in a bathroom. The police were called to address her manic episode associated with her mental illness, and the police officer responding mocked and laughed at her. And this is captured on the body camera footage of the incident. So the body camera footage captures Tulsa police officer laughing and taunting a 7-year-old mentally ill woman locked in a bathroom before a bloody takedown. So in the video, you see them laughing and taunting her. When they enter the bathroom, they violently take her down to apprehend her and place her in handcuffs. She is, struck, and her face is covered in blood, and she's expressing that she's in pain and things like that, and that she will surrender, and they threaten her not to fight and things of that nature. And it's just really a sad case, and another reason why we have those conversations about why the police need to have mental health professionals involved in these type of calls where someone is in distress because of a mental health concern or issue, not because of a violent issue. And granted, there have been some cases with mental health concerns where the person may have been holding a weapon. This one was not. She was not holding a weapon. She did have herself locked in a bathroom, and so they were coming to address the situation and take her in. And so it's fortunate. And then as a result, LaDonna Paris is charged with attempted arson, assault, and battery upon the police officer, resisting a police officer, trespassing, cruelty to animals. And so she was held in the Tulsa County Jail for almost a month, and she was only released after a judge cited the woman's mental status, and they dismissed all of her charges November 23rd. This incident, let me see, happened back in October of 2021. October 25th, 2021 is when this incident occurred, and LaDonna Paris has her children are seeking to file suit against this police department. And so now the video has come to light, and we are talking about the manner and the behavior of the police officers and such. So I encourage you guys to take a look at this. The officer, Ronnie Carosia, is the female police officer from the Tulsa Police Department who was the one laughing and taunting the 7-year-old LaDonna Paris in the video. So definitely, funding is needed for mental health calls and these types of police calls, so that they can properly assess and address the situations, rather than the police just coming in, assessing and exerting this type of brute force when that is not necessarily the answer and the resolution to de-escalate the situation. So what do we think about this? I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Let's have a conversation out on the social media. I'm out there on Instagram and Twitter. So let me know what you think about this case with LaDonna Paris or any of the stories that we talked about today. And we thank you guys for listening. At this time, we're going to go ahead and conclude the episode. We greatly appreciate you listening. We invite you to follow us On social media, on Instagram, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. On Twitter, it is Woke by. On Facebook, it is Woke by Accident Podcast. We also have the new website up, www.wokebyaccident.net. Please check us out and also follow us on all of your favorite streaming platforms, and please leave a review and share feedback. You can also reach out by Gmail, wokebyaccident@gmail.com. And every time you listen, we appreciate it so much. Thank you for listening and take care.